Hello and welcome to the International Black Film Festival. My name is Michael McLendon and our theme this year is Our Dream on the Big Screen, 15 years and counting of authentic storytelling. Today we have a number of storytellers with us and we're excited to have them. And so we have only 30 minutes to really dig into some great films and talk to some great people. So I want to start out though, just kind of going one by one because we have storytellers and we have actors here as well. So I want you to introduce yourself. We'll start with her spotlight. Just kind of like tell us who you are and a representative for the film. Kind of tell us, what inspired the film and, what it is that you were looking to do and get people, what kind of reaction you were looking to get from it. So let's start with her spotlight though.
Hi, my name is Athalia J. I don't think Tari, the director, was able to make it today.
Okay.
But I was a cast member in her spotlight. And what inspired the whole film was her grandmother passed away, and it's basically a story about two sisters arguing, and one sister wanted to wear something to her grandmother's funeral, but the other sister wanted to honor her mother's, dreams and all the singing she done with the children when they were young. So it's basically a little argument about whether to wear it or whether to honor their mother's dream.
Usually I get a chance to see all of the films because they're all very intriguing. And today, though, I had some personal things going on with my family, so I didn't see all of them. But I did see her spotlight, and I thought it was, really interesting the way the funeral was set up and the plot and how the sisters had their rivalry going on. So I appreciate you being here in order to share with her spotlight. Let's move on to A New Chapter. And I think we have a few representatives from that film. So
yes.
So let's talk to some New Chapter representatives.
Absolutely. So I'm Madi A. I'm the writer, producer, starring as well in the film. We've got Susanna Wolk, who's our fabulous director, and Miss Deborah Tomris, who I could not have done the film without, who is starring opposite of me. The film was this really emotionally fueled drama that really highlights the tension between this overbearing mother and her postpartum daughter. But by the end of it, we want to make sure we leave our audience with hope, because there's a new baby in the family, and what does that signify to a family, and how can that heal relationships?
Yeah, and this was one of the ones I got a chance to check out, and it really was, the tension was thick between the mother and the daughter. You all did a great job of bringing that to screen, even, the mother's holding on, as well as, I would say, her kind of not knowing how she felt about your husband in the film. Could you talk about what inspired you to do the film?
Absolutely. I mean, it's based on my own, very interesting relationship with my mother. I don't want to speak for everyone. I'm sure we all have that, how your parents can make you return to your 15-year-old self, right? So based on my own relationship with my mom, but also, as an actress, I've never worked with a baby. And so I wanted to explore that dynamic. And we workshopped a lot with the script. Susanna, do you want to talk a little bit about our rehearsal process and, sort of the script process?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Madi came to me with this really, really wonderful script, and I was really just struck by how emotional it was and how she had created these characters who felt so real and really just jumped off the page and gave us this sort of slice of life in this very short time frame. And what was really wonderful about the process is that we got to really dig into it with a lot of rehearsal with Madi and Deborah, and just finding the characters and working through the scenes, and really kind of, I think we thought a lot about just relationships between parents and children, as Madi was just saying, and a mother coming to terms with her baby, in fact, being a mother, and Maudier's character, Carly, coming to terms with the fact that her mother is a human being who is flawed and went through her own struggles, and that made her the person that she is. And, being able to see the flaws in your parents and your children, and hopefully at the end of the film, they're able to move forward with a deeper understanding of each other as full human beings. And so, yeah, it was wonderful that we got to really dig into these characters and rehearse so much, so that we got to set. We had a very limited amount of time, and I don't know, the two of them just were on fire and brought their A game, and were so emotionally present right off the bat. It was really a thrill to work on with the two of them, especially.
Yeah, it was very, very, the emotions were definitely present, and the mother's tug of war on the inside and with the daughter was good. And I think the mother, the young lady who played the mother, is with us as well. Are you still there? I think I saw you earlier. Could you talk as well and share about your character and your experience being part of this film?
It was a very healing process for me. I had just finished taking care of my mom for several years. So being asked to do this film was very healing. I don't even think I shared this with Marie at the time, but what made us, we kind of gelled, and it came from just talking like we're talking now, just vibing off of one another, and just finding out what's up in each other's heads as far as the character and what's making this character tick, and where is it coming from, and then when we hit on certain emotions, and just playing with it and massaging it and trying different come-froms. And what I felt began to happen was, it really kind of organically, you just organically knew where to go and where that character started becoming alive within me on its own. Mm-hmm. It just kind of grew.
Yeah. And that's evident with the final product. So, kudos for you and for the entire cast and crew. And the writing is very well done. Just looking at the tug of war, how you remembered how your daughter, who was grown, was like that, in terms of the breastfeeding and whatnot. All those moments were quite touching and intimate, in spite of the conflict. So, and let me let everybody know, I said 30 minutes early, but I've got to cue that we can keep, we have time to extend that since we have so many people. So don't, even though I'm spending a little time here, we're still going to continue to delve through the films. But exceptional film. Thanks for sharing it. And thanks for taking the time, even while you're to be with us too here. And we're going to come back to some of y'all as well. But let's talk to someone from Getting Into Circles. Famous, talk about that film and what inspired it, and the process of bringing it to life.
Hey, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and speak to you guys. So basically, Getting Into Circles was inspired by just an independent artist who is here in Cape Town from Nigeria, all the way from Nigeria. Came to study and try to live up with dreams. And getting here into Cape Town here, it was a different ball game for me. And so in talking about the struggle as an independent artist who is trying to get out there without no funds, no anything. So we decided, let me write a story that can impact another independent artist who is going through a struggle together with me. And the story was just about those artists coming together to make things work for themselves and not waiting for a record label or anything out there for you to pave your own way, you know. So I decided, let me use this my struggles and bring light to somebody else out there and show them that actually there's a concept, a movement that's going out there that encourages other artists like them to come together and actually make something out of nothing. Yeah.
Because I think that story is definitely universal, you know, in terms of a lot of artists, because, you know, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know, there's this swelling desire to do something. There's not always a clear road to how to make that happen. Not only, as you said, as an artist, because I know, you know, you're calling us from South Africa, but can you talk about, you know, how that played out in terms of making the film as well? Was it something where you already had all the resources to do what you need to do, or is this your first film, or how did that process go for you in terms of making the film? Because you're not just a filmmaker, you're also, you know, an artist.
Exactly.
But you're making a film, and so how was that process for you?
In the first place, I never knew I was gonna be into filmmaking or anything. I just have a love for creativity and art, and as an artist out here, I knew that it's not always very easy to just get a camera or book these things and shoot yourself and make your music and everything like that. So what inspired me was the people around me. I had a few friends that were like, okay, you know what? It was actually first about the hustle, like just to get food on the table. And then people were telling me, okay, you know what? Someone told me I've got this school called Doki, and you know, I can see that you're a very good media person. You like to be on the camera and everything. And they told me about this school that I can go to and sharpen up my skills. And yeah, I was like, wow, let me go try it. And I never knew I would be a filmmaker until I started this school. And then the passion just grew bigger, and I just wanted the world to see a different part of me, also as a creative trying to make films and trying to stay my own story, you know. Yeah, so that was how I started the whole movement with my filmmaking. I was really not into film, but just the passion for the camera and music and just the media. Yeah,
Kudos to you for having a vision and walking it out and doing a great job putting together a story that a lot of people can relate to. And we appreciate you,
thank you,
you know, definitely chiming in and sharing your film with us.
thank you.
The next one I have on the list, it says Miss Heritage Cape Town. Is there someone, is that also, or is this a representative?
Yes. So
Yeah.
that is also a short film that was shot by the team where I studied at here in South Africa. So Doki provides a platform for us. So it's called Doki Imagine Filmmakers Program. So it provides a platform for young people like me, who feel like we have something in the media and want to shoot, and want to tell a story. So they give us a platform, and we come together. They separate us as students, and that documentary speaking about Miss Heritage 2019 was one of the films that we had to shoot in the school at the time I was studying there. Yes.
So the collective project that you all put together. And just out of curiosity, before I move to the next one, about how many people are part of the school, and you know, how often do you all put together like different projects collectively?
Yes. So the school is not a very big school, but it's nicely managed. Like sometimes there are different schools that happens. So sometimes you might find a class of 18 students. Sometimes you find a class of 20. It depends on how what the theme of the school is for that time. Like recently, I just finished another course with them, and the theme was about humanity. What's it again? What's it for? Humanity. Yes, it was about a humanitarian vibe. So to see our rights, it was about human rights. Sorry, that's the word I wanted to say. So we had to all sit together and create concepts of films or stories that we want to tell. So based on human rights. So yeah.
And I see where someone has, I think it's, to make sure I say this, Sisetu Viola.
Yeah,
Excuse me, sir?
hello.
Are you a part of, you were part of this film? In fact, you were the
Yes, I'm the director.
yes. So talk to us. We were just talking about Miss Heritage, Cape Town. So talk to us about your experience making that film.
Wow, the experience was amazing. I finally had the platform to actually express how I felt about society's beauty standards. And I got the platform to break those standards, to show them that even if you don't have Caucasian blonde hair or blue eyes, which is beautiful at their own rights, but we are also beautiful as kinky girls, Black girls. So I just wanted to embrace that and show them that in Cape Town, yes, we do accommodate other beauty forms.
Yes, yes, that is so awesome. What's so awesome to me is that, you know, not only did you put this film together, but because of technology, your ideas and the reality that you were able to bring to film can be disseminated throughout the world. It started as a thought, but you were able to pull that and to kind of fight against this whole thing where, you know, there's this Western concept of beauty, and sometimes we of African descent don't, you know, it's been pushed on us to the point sometimes where, you know, we acquiesce to those thoughts, you know, I need to look this way or I need to be this size. But, you know, you're speaking confidently and truthfully about the fact that that is not the standard, because there is beauty in all of us. So was it something that, was this a film that you wanted to make for some time, or did you just kind of, this is like the first of many projects? How did you come about doing this one, this particular project?
Well, it started all out like as a funny story. I was recruited to be a plus size model, but I never had the confidence to do it. And then one of the cameramen asked me, "Why aren't you confident to do it?" And I told him that no, I don't have this and this and this. And he said, "Sweetheart, you are beautiful in your own way. Don't try to compare yourself to someone else. Everybody's beautiful in their own way." So I was like, okay, I finally feel good about myself. And I also want young girls who are Black and beautiful to feel this way.
Yeah, that is so awesome, because it's using art in its highest form when we start talking about filmmaking. So thanks so much for having that vision and for manifesting that vision, because we all need to be affirmed that we don't have to be like anybody else. We are all beautiful, as you said, in our own way. I'm going to go on to Thousand Lights of Sun. I think Michael is with us. Michael, if you don't mind, share with us about Thousand Lights of Sun, what inspired it and what you hope to accomplish with that.
Hi, my name is Mike Brown, and I'm the director, writer of Thousand Lights of Sun. And basically with this film, well, it's about a young father who struggles to provide for his family. And on the night of his son's 10th birthday, Jeremy, the father, desired to provide a better life for his family, lands him in a predicament that would change him forever. I intended to make a film that promoted the humanity and complexity of a Black man who had been traumatized by police. And in this film, you see Jeremy, the father, with his hopes and aspirations and love for his family and a range of emotions that reveal his humanity. And I had a great team, a great film team. I want to give a shout out to my producer, Margie Merritt, my editor, executive producer, Ilya Katsap, and also my cinematographer, Justin T. Davis. We had a great film team, and we shot on location in Brooklyn and Harlem last summer.
How difficult or how challenging was it to pull all of this together and then, you know, do it in such an effective way? Because it sounds like, you know, you had quite the crew and cast, and you're managing all this, and then pulling off a story that started out as a concept that we all in this time needed to see.
Yes.
Because of what's going on in our world. Yeah.
Well, we shot it in 2019 over in the summer, and it was a good experience pulling together. I basically called a lot of favors. We had a small budget, but I called in a lot of favors and put together a team, and everyone saw the value in the script, and that really made a difference. So once we put the team together. We shot it over the course of 3 days, and in Brooklyn and Harlem. And we felt that this was a story that could resonate. We didn't foresee the George Floyd's the death of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. It just was become so necessary. But we did see that this film could touch a nerve in our society and be a small conversation starter.
Mm.
Now, is this project? I mean, it's so relevant, right, to what we're going through. And I wonder, in terms of like, of course, we've got a chance to see this festival, but what are plans? I know COVID's going on, so it's hard to do all the networking won't usually do. But at the same time, there is the internet and whatnot. Are you being able to make any roles with other showings, or what are your plans in terms of doing with the project now that it's done and you're beginning to hit festivals?
Well, we screened at several film festivals, and we're so pleased to have a successful film showing at this film festival and at IBFF Nashville. And the next step was possibly getting a license for something like Quality TV or a different streaming platform, so audience can continue to stream and continue to see the film.
Mike, we really appreciate you, man. We're going to double back over. I want to keep on moving to the next project, Beauty Mark. I think Jonathan, maybe Chelsea, and Jonathan, Chelsea. I'm not sure who all is here, but I know we got a number of people, I think, with this particular project.
Yeah, it's me, Chelsea, and Aaliyah.
And Aaliyah, yes. Talk to us about the project and what inspired you to make it and what you hope to accomplish with it. And anybody a part of that team can jump in.
Okay. What inspired me to make Beauty Mark was just really, it's a personal story that plays a part within a lot of things that happened with my mom, and then also one of my close best friends from high school. And I just really wanted to tell a powerful narrative that really sympathizes with a woman, with me as a man telling that viewpoint, and just having a level of understanding and compassion for that kind of story, and just letting you understand the plight that a lot of Black women go through, from day to day, and how they, struggle with whether to stay or, what obstacles get in their way of doing that.
Yeah, being a man and dealing with this topic, how did you, I know, you said your mom dealt with a lot of it, but how did you ensure yourself that, you're doing this with the right touch, if that makes sense? Because sometimes such topics, and especially if it's dealing with issues that a woman went through, and a man does it, so much has been done wrong in the past in terms of the way films have represented women. How did you ensure that, you handled this delicately, or at least in a way that was appropriate, if that makes sense?
Yeah. A lot of personal conversations are had, especially with the things that me and my friend shared, what she shared with me. And I was actually with her doing a lot of things that were happening to her presently. And, the different things that I didn't have in this cut. But and then also just workshopping it with my actors and within my film school at the time was definitely making sure it's as authentic as it could be, and the voice was very clear and present.
Yeah. And Chelsea, talk to us about your role in this project and your experience being part of it.
It was a lot, I would say, but it's kind of funny because I relate a lot to Crystal and the character I played, and I see myself as a very strong woman, and I feel like a lot of people see a lot of women of color as strong women, and I don't think a lot of people understand that strong women go through shit, and it's sometimes it's hard, and I think this film does a lot of justice to just the BTS of life, you know what I mean? Not necessarily everyone goes through what Crystal went through, however, I feel like it sheds a lot of light to, everyone has stuff that they're going through, and a lot of people don't talk about it, especially something as serious as this. And I think this film does a lot of justice as well to that kind of, it's kind of crazy to say this, but it almost makes it justify why we hide it. Or at least me as Crystal, I found every reason why to not tell anybody, or every reason that, like, you know what, I am strong enough, and it's not that bad. It could be worse. So it was, and I relate to that a lot. And I think this script and Jonathan, like the conversation that we had, it really, it was kind of a therapy session for me every day on set. And it was hard, but it needed to be, this story needed to be told for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of times, like, you hear the stereotype, the strong Black woman, and a lot of times, you know, that can take away the humanity of the experience. Having said that, do you think that this film in some way will help people broaden their understanding? Because a lot of times, if you're not a part of the African American community, or even if you are, and you just don't realize what people are dealing with, you know, it's easy just to go based upon what one sees on television. And oftentimes there's just not enough diverse portrayals, you know, of African American or African women. So do you think that this role kind of helps to kind of maybe peel back some layers to help people get an understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that. And I think, and it's kind of funny because I think people sometimes see films like this, or they see films and they're uncomfortable. And people don't understand, like, that's what we're here to do. We need you to be uncomfortable. But also there's that other audience that's like, damn, I go through this, or like, damn, I relate to that. So I think, I don't think there's a line. I don't think if there is one, it should be crossed many times over to get people's attention, or bringing awareness, or just letting other people know. I think there's a constant drive for filmmakers and humanity to push the idea that you're not alone. Like, nobody's alone, and it's okay to feel that way, but just to know that you're not. So
that's a great point, because oftentimes, you know, as we all know, as people involved in this industry, films help us to realize that not only, you know, we're not alone, and there's somebody out there that's been through something, if not almost exactly like, you know, something like what I've been through, and these emotions I feel. If I can see them played out on stage or on screen, it can be, as you said, somewhat therapy. In the absence of it, you know, can get me closer, maybe even to going to therapy, you know, so to speak. So Aaliyah, while we're still on this film, talk to me about your experience with the film and what role you played with this project.
So I played Crystal's friend, one of her best friends, and it definitely, for some other parts that you guys have seen and other parts for another cut of the version that you guys haven't seen yet, it's definitely hard, even though we did just meet each other for the project, just seeing her in those positions that she was being put in by her husband, because it's like, you know, when whether you know somebody or like you're close with them, or it's someone you just met, just being there knowing that somebody's like hurting them, harming them in a way that, you know, she's so much smaller than him, she can't really defend herself. And it's like, you want to do something, you want to help her, but she won't tell me what's going on. So it's like, I feel like I can't help her because I don't, you know, it's like, I know something's happening, I physically see it, but it's like, she won't tell me. And it's like, I just, you know, I want to be there, but it's hard to try to be there for someone that won't let you. So it's definitely a way to kind of help you understand. Sometimes you just need to give people maybe some time to open up to you, but you don't, obviously, you don't want to give too much time because you don't want something bad to happen to them. So it's definitely an eye opener that you need to just maybe let people come to you and make them feel comfortable to tell you things that maybe they don't know how to share with people.
What about your preparation for a role like that? I mean, while you're not necessarily the character who has the greatest emotional experience in this one in terms of everything she went through, you still have to like prepare in a way where you're supporting this person who's like going through a kaleidoscope of emotions. Were you able to pull from experiences, or how did you prepare for your role?
Yeah, so for some other scenes, there were times that I would just kind of pull from my past experiences with, like, for my mom, for example, she did pass away when I was pretty young. So for me, I just kind of pulled from that because she was in a position where I physically couldn't help her. And there was like, you know, there's nothing you can do. So it's like when, you know, you just think about it, it kind of happens just naturally when you really start to put yourself back into those times.
Yeah. Right. Hitting back to Jonathan, and then we're going to jump to the next film. Jonathan, so given the film and the quality of it, not only in terms of how well it's done, but also the message What are you looking to do with it in terms of getting it before people? I know that, like, this is great, and I see you won other awards with it. I just wonder what in the future are your plans with it.
What I plan to do with this film is still spotlight it in a sense, and just get it out there in different media, different screenings, and just the message overall to help people. You know, it's crazy that this film is still relevant with us being in quarantine even now, and that there's so much domestic violence that's been going on this year, you know, behind closed doors, that people can't get out, they can't escape. So it's definitely another beacon of hope and another vantage point that people can look to see it. And just the ultimate goal with any of my films is just to help people and to see underrepresented voices shine, that they would normally be, you know, silenced and closed in the dark. So I just want to get it out there to the masses for anybody to see. So just any avenue and venue I can get it to is what the plan is.
We really appreciate you all submitting and being here with us today, because we can't talk enough about these things, because there's somebody right now who is seeing this film today and is saying, you know, that I need to make a change, I can get away from this situation or something. They've been triggered because of it, or maybe I need to stop being the abuser. You know, maybe, you know, that can get through one's head because of this film. So thank you for doing it and having the courage to really delve in there and create something that's meaningful, impactful, and as one of your actresses says, Chelsea, therapeutic, I'm sure, in the process, as well as for people who view it. The next film is Six Pack, and I think Ari and Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Burris. I'm the producer of Six Pack, and I also have Rita Usher. She's the writer-director, and we have two of our actresses, Zaria and Aria, on today.
Three, actually. Anna's here as well.
Represent Six Pack. so Skyh, as a producer, kind of start us out. You know, I know you had the six sisters and everything, and y'all getting that bicycle back. But tell us about, you know, the idea for the film, I guess the writer, and then producer. Everybody tell me a little bit about your role and your experience.
So hey everyone, I'm Rita Usher, writer-director of Six Pack. Six Pack is a concept completely pulled out of my childhood. I grew up in South Central with 5 sisters. And so there's 6 of us total. And there's been a list of stories that I've shared with my friends throughout my years of just being alive on this earth. And my friends always found it comical or relatable in some sense, way, or form. And so I decided for my MFA to make my thesis film about my childhood, but also to spotlight a very real storyline that happens in South Central. Like, we get to see South Central through the eyes of young Black girls, which we exist there. And we don't see that often on television, especially when it's a South Central narrative. The females or the women that's usually in South Central narratives are a supporting character. So I very much so wanted to center Black girlhood through the eyes of my childhood in South Central.
And because there's 6 of y'all, it's almost like you see it at these different stages.
Yes.
And I even got this episodic vibe, like you know, this one was about getting the bicycle. So are there any thoughts about expanding? Because, well, I got a million questions, but I know a million people, you know, we got a little different members here that can speak to them. But is that a thought, like, you know, continuing it with different things?
Absolutely. I think this is, I don't know, since I've made this film, my sisters, my friends I've gone to high school with, just people just across the world have seen it and said, girl, this was my sister's too. So I started to toil with the idea of making it into like an episodic series. I'm actually working on that right now. I think this is something that's dynamic, just to showcase Black girlhood through different age type, different skin tone, different hair textures, different personalities, just the mixture and the richness of us all, and also nostalgia. Like, I just don't feel like, so this film is set in the early 2000s. My coming of age was in the early 2000s. I feel like we've, as a medium in film and television, we've done the 90s, we've done the 80s, but we really have not hammered down the early 2000s. And I feel like it needs to happen. So I really want to do that with the episodic series that I'm putting together right now.
Well, it's a fun film. And so, Kelsey, how did you all connect in order to make this happen?
Well, first off, Rita and I are close friends. We met during our MFA program at Columbia College Chicago. So this was actually both of our thesis film. That was an accomplishment in itself. And when Rita brought the project to me, I mean, for one, I too grew up in the early 2000s. So I was just super excited to be able to work on this with her and bring that time period to life. But also, the fact that, she's my friend, and I wanted to make sure that her project was thought through properly. There were not that many people of color in our program. And especially when it came to producers, director partnerships, there was not that much support. So I wanted to make sure that I could be there for her. And she also wanted to shoot in LA, and I had never shot a film in LA before. So I was like, okay, I'm up to the challenge. Let's do it. And we ended up casting in Chicago, and we had our talent come out to LA. We had some of our crew members come out to LA, and we were just one big happy family staying in one house. Trying to make it work. It was very much so low budget, but that's what brought, I think, the genuineness in the production, especially when it came to the relationship with the girls. Rita spent a lot of time with them prior to us going out to LA. And once we got there, they were all gelling, of course, on and off the camera. So that was just so beautiful to see. All the super moms that came out there and helped us get through the production. That was beautiful. Even down to the girls, Aria and Zaria working together on like some of the music that was in the film. They wrote themselves.
Wow.
We brought them to the studio. They recorded. So yes, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on every end of the spectrum put into making the film. So we are all very proud to be here and to share this with you all.
Before I ask this next question, I just want to let everybody know that if there's a question you have for another filmmaker or actor, actress, just put it in the chat for me, and I'll make sure we get it asked just to make sure that we get all that out there, because there's so much wealth right now amongst you all that I wouldn't want the opportunity to pass. And we actually can ask those to one another, but like if you just kind of if you want to put it in the chat, you can put it that way, or we can just kind of go back and forth with some different things. I wanted to move on and talk about some of the talent you had, and I know some of them are with us. I was blown away by some of the young talent. I mean, the kids are so expressive and vibrant, and they really seem like sisters. So if you do me a favor, Kelsey, kind of introduce some of the talent that we have on here, and also they'll talk about the talent, the even the youngest sisters. I mean, they were all like, big smiles, interactive, and like you said, y'all live in the same house. So I imagine that helped with chemistry, but it really seemed like they were sisters.
Yeah, Rita and I took a lot of time to make sure that we chose the right girls. I mean, we did like, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 different sessions of casting. We had them come together and actually pretend that they were sitting at the dinner table. And we had about 5 or 6 different groups that we were testing out and, picking this person, that person. But yeah, some of our girls were from Chicago. Others were from Kentucky area, which is why we were so excited about this festival. So hopefully we can catch you all next year. But yes, we have Aria Harrell, and she played the oldest sister, Deidre. And we have Zaria Primer, and she played Miss Chalet. She was the one who lost the bike. So I'll let you ladies talk.
And Anna Ambuchi. Anna Ambuchi is on here as well. I thought I saw her.
I don't see her anymore, but Aria and Zaria.
Okay, so yeah, Aria, if you'll jump in, just tell us about your experience, your character, and what you thought about the process.
Hi, first of all, I'm so happy to be here. It's my first film festival, but it was really a lot of fun because I'm the youngest, and so to play the oldest was like, I'm just gonna tap into my sister and get it right and get this like whole attitude going on. And so that was a lot of fun. Obviously, it was in the early 2000s. I was born in 2003, so I really didn't know. But it was cool to tap into that kind of time period. And then the girls, oh my gosh, they were so much fun. We were in the house and the girls were like running around. So I'm like, have to actually get them to bed. And I'm like, I'm not these girls' like parents. So it was a lot of fun.
So you actually were kind of like a big sister, even after cut. You were still in that role.
Yeah.
What about you, Zaria? Talk about your experience on set as well and with this film.
It was really fun. Like being in the house with all of them, it was sad to leave. Like we were really sisters in that house, so it was so easy to have chemistry on the film. And yeah, it really was a good experience. Like some of us still talk, I know, and my mom still talks to the moms and we update each other on, you know, if we got a role or something. But yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really think that you all will be great in the series with this because it was really touching and just as I'm not sure if it was Kelsey or who said or Art about it being like a coming of age story. I mean, it really is. That's what it is. But just to see you all's chemistry was great. Are there other? I know we got COVID going on, but once you shot this, did you have the opportunity to work on any other projects, or can we be looking forward to seeing y'all in some other things? Because you all really did a phenomenal job in this. And I guess this question really is for Aria and Zaria. Aria, how you say it? Ariel?
Aria, yeah.
Ariel and Zaria.
So yeah, that summer was when I like really wanted to get into acting. So the first thing before that, I actually got to shoot a director's lab at Sundance. And so that was, yeah, it was really fun. But unfortunately, you guys can't see that because it was the director's lab. But I got to work with a lot of cool people, Ed Harris, Robert Redford, all those people. And so right now I've been doing some short films and just trying to get more into it. Because that summer was like the summer I was like, I want to do this. So I was doing camps and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, what about you, Zoe?
I am gonna be in another short film. Her name is Cassandra Bell. It's gonna be on Amazon Prime, so I'll be on that. And, you know, I'm still doing a lot of auditions at home, self tapes. So yeah.
Wow. What's so inspiring for me is that they're at all film festivals, and I know this was virtual, so we're not all together in the room talking after the films with different people in the audience, but people come to film festivals because either they have a film to show or they want to have a film to show. So what I'd like to do is circle back around, starting from her spotlight and the representatives, I know, and talk about things that you think may be keys or that you learned that you could share with others to get to this point, right? Where they've done a film and they are featuring a film at festivals, and just a couple of keys to getting your project done and also marketing it to a certain degree, because we wouldn't be talking today if you had not submitted your project to the festival, and many of you have been at multiple festivals. So for those people listening who have that dream, and for the actors, the dream of acting, give them some keys and some things that you picked up from your experiences that they can use in order to make their projects a reality. And let's start with her spotlight, and let's go from there in the same order that we started. Do we still have a representative from her spotlight on?
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
No, that's all right. What's some things that you learned that you picked up on in that process that you would say to inspiring actors or filmmakers that they could learn from your experience on set, so that when they look to try to get their projects at film festivals or to act in a picture that's been on film festivals, to get to that point where they're in projects or where they're like actually manifesting their dreams?
I think the number one thing you should always do is audition. Try to get a lot of headshots. You know, you're gonna get more no's in this industry than yeses. Everyone knows that. It's more no's than yeses. So you kind of just have to keep pushing, keep going your way. Sometimes you might have doubts, and something I really learned was patience. Like, patience was the number one thing I learned doing this whole thing. That was actually my first film I ever got 3 years ago when I was 10. So I was really excited. That was like kind of my motivation to keep going and keep striving. And ever since then, I've gotten training. So I think that if I would have been in another film now, it would be a better, I would be wiser. It would be a better experience this time.
So be prepared to deal with those no's and then get some training and also have patience that it will happen if you keep going, is what I hear you saying.
Absolutely.
What about, I think with a new chapter, I think we have Susanna and Madi, I don't want to mispronounce the name, so, but with a new chapter, talk to us about what advice you would give to people who want to be in this industry and things that you've learned that you can share with those who want to take part in some of this collective wisdom that you all are sharing. Did we lose our people? I know one was on the way, the young lady was on the way to an actual screen. Do we still have anybody from a new chapter on? Okay, if not, then we're going to getting into circles. Famous, if you're there, what kind of insight would you share? And now, if you have your microphone on mute, unmute.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
I'm back on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. What kind of
Awesome.
insight would you give to people who want to make a film and then not only make that film, but also share that film?
Okay. Well, for me, as a young filmmaker, I would say, I agree what, is it Aria? I think, someone said just now, you have to be patient. You have to have humility while you're on set, whatever it is. I feel like from when you guys are sharing ideas to when you are already on set and making the film come together, I feel like you have to have patience, you have to have humility, and you have to learn to work together, because at the end of the day, you're trying to have one picture and you're trying to have a golden picture, an award film, So I think that's just what we can have or work on in terms of getting what your goal is, That's for me.
Yeah, I hear you saying, the collaboration process and being able to do that with humility, because I know sometimes working with other people, depending on, especially we as artists, sometimes, we can be temperamental, but knowing
exactly
when, where, and how, that's good on camera, but maybe not
exactly
working with people behind the scenes.
We have to put down the egos and whatever it is. Like for me as an artist, working with other people who are also creatives and shooting videos, like I'm more on the music side, but when it comes to film, I want to still learn and I want to be part of every process. So I don't want to be like, okay, no, you keep me this side and you guys are the ones that need to do the work, or whoever. We need to put that down for that goal to be achieved. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
That's what.
And that's a great point, because I know it's a balancing act, because on the one hand, that sensitivity and that ego can drive one to get to a point that they accomplish something, but at the same time, it's situational. It's good if you can embody that for the character and to push yourself through those no's, like you were talking about earlier. But when it comes to actually working together, there's a time and a place.
Exactly. And one more thing, like for my team, like with Doki, we mostly work with like a small team, maybe a team of 4 trying to create a film. Like for my film, our film Getting Into Circles, we were 4 of us working on this project. And so imagine some people gonna get tired. Some people will be like, okay, let's do it tomorrow. But we have a call time, we have everything set already and a plan. So we have to achieve. So we keep pushing. We have to keep pushing and working hard, whatever it is,
Yeah, I hear discipline in that as well.
Exactly.
You got to hit certain points, not only as an actor,
Yes.
in terms of the set and getting it done, moving on to the next location.
Yes.
All those different details. Is Sasetu, are you still with us? Because I'd love for you to share as well if you're still online. But if not, then we're going to Michael or Mike with Thousand Lights of Sun. Mike, what kind of wisdom can you share with us about, at least that you garnered from your process in terms of putting your film together, that you can share with other filmmakers?
I've learned to finding your collaboration is key. I think famous Katu mentioned this earlier, but finding your tribe and building community is very important. And also, not only when you find your tribe and the people that you work really well with, value them. Them. A lot of times we call in favors when we have these small budget films. When I have my small budget films, but when I have a budget, I want to pay the people well and let them know that I value their service. And I think that right now in the COVID-19 pandemic, there's a lot of information sharing and there's a lot of support. I know that there are organizations like Black Film Space based here in New York and Black Film and TV Collective based here in New York, but their services are now global because they are everything is virtual. So I would say join those organizations and go to script readings, and those organizations will help you find community. And I think that's very important to just rise up together.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that information and also talking about valuing your tribe, because I know a lot of times those people we call in favors for, sometimes you see situations where people call in favors, but then when they get money, they find totally different people and don't remember those people who were willing to do it for them. But, you know, valuing those people who see the vision and will run with you with that vision, even when you don't have all of the resources or even before you have the resources. You know, they speak life into it and they also can execute something to bring that vision into reality. So I think that's a great point about that, as well as thanks for sharing that information, you know, because all of us can go and take advantage of things now because a little more extra time now with COVID going on, you know, we spend a little more time at home where we can kind of dig and do research and join some virtual communities. So thanks for sharing that, Mike. So let's go on to Beauty, Mark. And again, we got a few representatives, but each of you, we still got a few minutes here. Each of you take some time and just share with us, you know, just some insight that you would share from your experience with this film, but just in general, things that you know now that you would share to somebody who's trying to get to where you are as a writer, as a producer, and then as actresses.
I guess I'll start. 2 P's that I have is persistence and also presentation. With persistence is just never giving up. Any obstacle that gets in your way, you know, find a way to, you know, figure it out. Don't get flustered. A lot of things happen. Like I've never been on a set that's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect set. Something always is going to happen, whether you plan for it or not. I try to plan for things, but things, you know, happen. So you just gotta take a moment, you know, collect your thoughts and figure out quickly how you're going to overcome things that happen. I know there's one story that happened to us on set. Chelsea and Alvester were doing a domestic violence scene when they're in the kitchen. And then downstairs, people were hitting. They didn't know we were filming a movie. And we were just in fear that we were going to get put out of the apartment and they were going to call the police on us. And my friend's apartment we were using, she was like, if y'all get put out, like, I'm not going to be part of this anymore. So like, we were really trying to like figure out within time constraints, like just to get this film done. And it was like the last day of filming. Like we had done all the other days were fine. We had no issues, but it was this last day that ran over and we were just like having meetings, really talking about what she would do. And I had to make a lot of decisions in those moments to be like, let's finish it. Let's just do it strong. It'll be okay, you know? And then with presentation is no one's gonna care about what went wrong in your set, what, you know, whatever happened. They're gonna just care what they see. First, you know, first impression is everything. So just clean it up, make your film it look as clean as possible. Make sure you have good sound, good picture, lighting, especially important for people of color. You need to have good lighting for them. And then also when it comes to the marketing, you know, you see a poster behind me, you just make sure that your brand is always illuminating what you represent. And so that's one thing that I carry to every film is that when you see Jonathan Rowan's name on a film, you're always going to know it's going to be of quality and it's going to be about something.
That's good. That's good. You did it like a priest. You got the P's, right? What about you, Leah, since we already on you guys, what would you share?
I would say to all the actors out there, you know, don't get discouraged, you know, whether you get a role or, you know, don't get a role, whatever the problem, whatever is going on, you know, don't get discouraged. And I would say keep going no matter what, because especially times like this, you know, there's not a lot of roles happening. There's not a lot of projects, you know, being made. You can make your own too. You know, you could, I don't know what happened. You can, there we are. I disappeared, sorry guys. But, you know, you can make your own, you know, if you want to just brush up on your skills and there's nobody teaching acting classes right now, you know, something I've been starting to do. just find monologues online and just practice at home, self-tape yourself just to practice, and just keep going. And eventually when things start opening up again, keep trying and just keep pushing, whether it takes a couple months or years, a couple decades, however long it takes, I would just say just keep going if that's what you really want to do.
I like when you all keep saying about persistence, because it's evident that you all have it, because in spite of the pandemic, you are working, not only getting your film out to these festivals, but I'm sure many of you are writing and continuing to network and continuing to make things happen. That's why we really appreciate you all joining us and sharing some of these things, because this is really an opportunity, right? Because, we don't always just have this amount of time to focus the way we are. And so this is something that's being recorded, so people will be able to glean from it. So thanks for sharing that, Aaliyah. And what about you, Chelsea, if you're still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I would say, well, it's kind of funny. I'm a performer. I'm not like a filmmaker or anything. And for the past 3 years, I've kind of been a full-time stunt woman, more so than an actress. But I'm still a performer. I'm always going to be an actress no matter what. And it's funny because this film was like the first thing I did when I came out here. But as far as performers go, I know we have younger actors on here. I totally agree. Keep going. Like, it's total. I'm like, you already have whatever film that you want to make. It's already made. You just have to put in the hours. Like, it's already there. It's in your head for a reason. And you have no idea how many people you're going to touch, how many people you're like, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the people who need to hear the story. As far as persistence, there's no, I mean, if it's in your heart, there's a reason why it needs to be out there. And as far as acting goes, there are, and also, I mean, in the stunt world too, for us specifically, it's an aesthetic pleasing business, like, or it's an aesthetic side of the industry. So like, there are a lot of no's. There are always going to be a lot of no's, but I mean, you've survived 100% of your worst days. So if you're here in this room, or somebody who wants to make it to X, Y, and Z, or from A to B, like, they already know that they can. And anything that we can do. And then I think people forget that it is a collab. Like, we all get so into like the self tapes and like, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I like what Kato said, like, it is a collaborative thing, in that like, we put our egos down and we're able to put in the work on the sound, put in the work on the performance side, put in the work on the writing side. And we are all here to make something dope. And life can be dope if you just let it. And if we all just come together, and be a happy family. But like, honestly, let's be real. If we want to make some dope shit, let's do it. Let's just do it. You have time. So
the awesome point that I keep hearing from you all collaborate with humility, and know that we can get it done in spite of all the things that may present themselves. Because from concept to writing to pre-production to production to post-production, there's so many people involved in that process that it's not a space for people to just have the ego and shut the whole thing down, because these people can't get along. It's about making it happen and realizing that it's a team game, it's a team effort. And when people play their parts and play them well, we get beautiful films like the ones that you all have produced. So what about the people here from Six Pack? I know they bring in the good energy. Talk about what you can share from working on your project that will be food for those who want to do something, but they're not sure if they can, or they need some insight even, and I should mention this earlier too, it could be related to budget or whatever it is, but just share some insight that you would give to people who are interested in doing what you all have done.
I would definitely agree with all of you all on the making it happen piece, for sure. But along the way, I think you also have to always remind yourself that this is a creative medium, and you have to keep an open mind. Things evolve, things change. I know for us, like the day before we were going to have our 4-day shoot, we had to go in and change the script because a location didn't get locked the way we thought it would. And, like I said, keeping an open mind, it's not the end of the world. You have to make it work. Even down to the edit, not a lot of the shots that we wanted to get were as great as we wanted them to be. And so the film actually turned into something else. But knowing and also reminding yourself that we are creative, we are talented, and we have the ability to make things happen, like you all were saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that the stories that are in your head are beautiful. Share them with the world. And once you share them with the world, the right people will gravitate towards you and they make for the best collaborations. Huge proponent of collaboration and just following your gut instinct about the stories you want to tell.
That's good. That's good. Aria?
Yeah, I would say to the actresses and actors, as a young actress who's still trying to learn and make my way through, I think it's important to stay delusional, because I think the smaller your dreams are, the smaller your chances are of making it. And I think you got to reach for the stars and have faith when everything else around you just seems like it's not going right. All you need is one yes. And I think with hard work, persistency, and just connections, you'll be fine.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's right on point. And then Zaria.
I would just say accept roles that are outside of your comfort zone, because I wasn't excited about playing a tomboy because I'm really a girly girl, but I had to do it because that was the role I was given, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you have to just learn to do roles that you're not used to.
That's great. That's wisdom. And thank you for sharing that, because that applies in film and that applies in just life in general, getting outside of our comfort zone. So I appreciate you sharing that wisdom with us, because no matter how old we get, we have to remember that there's something outside of our comfort zone that's going to be, I'm going to use the word, a blessing to us, but that can open up a whole new world. And so thanks for sharing that. Thanks to all of you all for not only sharing your wisdom, but sharing your films and sharing your time with us today. It's been exciting having you all in this room. It's like, I don't know, it's just a wealth of wisdom, and it's something that we need to do continuously. So many kudos to all of you for what you're doing. I'm getting another question really quick in the chat before I let you all go. It just said, ask the older persons, and then it stopped. So she may be referring to me since I'm the old guy in the whole in the group. But just to ask the older persons, what I wanted to, I think I know what she's in terms of like how people can stay in contact with you. So not, we don't, those adults who would like to share and would like for people to know how they can stay in contact with you and find out more about your work. Is there a website or social media that you'd like to share? We can start again in the same order. Anybody from, I think her spotlight, no one was here from them, but a new chapter would like to share, like how people can find out more about the work that you might be doing. And then I'll go on to getting into circles. Anybody want to share? Getting into circles, Frameless. I don't know if you want to share anything. And then Thousand Lights of Some, Mike, how people can find out about new projects or different projects. I see some people are putting one or two things in the chat. So people who are part of this group, you can see some things there where you can find out about what they're doing. And let's see, Beauty, Mark, and then Six Pack. So just throwing it out there. So one of the things, and then one last question I see in the chat is ask the mature guests, are there other projects that you're a part of? Is there anyone else that want to share a project that you're involved with that we didn't talk about earlier? Feel free to chime in.
Yes, can I?
Yeah, sure, thanks.
Okay, so basically getting into circles is about, what the documentary is about now. So it's about a project called Circles. So Circles is an ongoing segment of these creative people coming together to create with other people around Africa, starting from Cape Town. So basically, we have these segments coming on every month. We try to make it every month. So you can find us on our social media on Facebook, Circles, or send if you want to collaborate, you can send an email to alterconcepts@gmail.com. So Yes, so that's it. Thank you.
We appreciate you. And like I said earlier, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I speak life and success and just multiple award-winning projects, and even more than that, projects that are effective as it relates to touching the human heart. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what these projects are about: transforming lives, hearts, and just making us see the best in whatever situation we encounter. So thanks to all of you for joining us at the International Black Film Festival. Congratulations on your films. And maybe we'll see you again next year if you choose to be our friends next year in Nashville. Maybe we'll see you in person. So have a great evening, and thanks again for joining us. You've been listening to the Q&A for Short Suite 2 with the International Black Film Festival. My name is Michael McLendon, and our theme for this year is Our Dream on the Big Screen, 15 years and counting of authentic storytelling. Till next time, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.